Lisa, we have a task in Kanban called OCLC Data Sync, and um, what we'll need to do with this is OCLC gave us a report of items that need to be deleted from OCLC, and these can be found here on this report. And basically, these are things that um, um, probably don't have holdings, um, or at least according to OCLC. There are things that don't have holdings that need to be deleted. Although, you can see that on this first one, Life at the Edge, this is a electronic portfolio that we purchased, and we don't want to delete that off of this report. So I put a note here that says do not delete. These two here, we were able to delete because in the case of this from the many to the one, that was one that appeared to be withdrawn. It had the holdings suppressed, but the bib record wasn't suppressed, and it was still showing up in connection. So I went ahead and made the assumption that it was something that we had wanted to withdraw. So I changed the location to withdrawn, and I suppressed the bib record, and I deleted it out of OCLC. So if it turns up again, we'll have to add it. So let's look at this this one, number 8 here, solving practical engineering mechanics problems. So if you take that and you look at OCLC, alright, this one is going to say held by, and if you look at this in ALMA, first of all, you're going to see it's an electronic resource, and this is one we purchased, and you can actually tell that this was purchased last April. And you can look at the collection by clicking on the portfolio list here. And you see we have a collection of EBSCOhost ebooks, and these are things that we actually purchased. So this is about 3 pages of ebooks that we have in this collection for EBSCO. So what I'm going to do is go back to the data sync report and just put in a note that says that we purchased this and that we don't want to delete it. Alright, so let's go to the next one, Musical Europe. And again, you can go back to connection and put in the OCLC number, and you can tell that it says we own that. And if you put that number in and search by all title keyword in institution, you see that it's not in our institution zone. And this is the title, Musical Europe, an Illustrated Guide. And if you click right here where it says held by, you see it's not held by Gordon. Just to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the institution zone and just put in the title. And yeah, it's definitely not in our institution zone. So that means that I can safely assume that this thing was withdrawn at some point. So I'm going to go to Actions, oops, Holdings, and Delete Holdings. take a look at another one. So this one you can see it was marked, the location was changed to withdrawn, and it was suppressed. And it still says held by our institution, and it's linked to the institution zone. So one thing we can do here is go to edit record, and we're going to go to file and copy to catalog, and then save and release record, because we don't want that still showing up in the network zone. And so nobody else held that title, so this is going to get deleted with Simon's report that he runs. Let's go back to the institution zone, and so now it's not linked. The problem is that it's still in connection. So this is 974. That's this number right here. We're going to open up connection and put in that title control number, and we withdrew it. It says held by GGJ, so we're going to do holdings, delete holdings. And I'm going to mark that deleted. Alright, so let's look at this one. This one's interesting. So if you copy and paste the title into Alma, you'll see that we don't have a copy of this resource here. So this is in the institution zone. We don't have a copy. In the network zone, there's a bunch of different bib records for the same resource, but they're different years. So you got a 75 and 289s. You've actually got 284s, 91 and 87 and 86, and on and on. But we don't have it. Now, if you search by the title control number, it's going to pull up a different record. And if you look in the institution zone, it'll pull up Joseph Conrad's Lord Jim, but that's because it's got this additional, I don't know, whatever you call this, UGA DB. You've got this thing appended to the end of the title control number. So I do think we can safely delete those. If you look in OCLC and put in that title control number, it pulls up the classification of nursing diagnoses. So we're going to do action, holdings, and delete holdings. And for Lord Jim, basically, here's your OCLC number right there. So if we put this in, we should expect to see Joseph Conrad's Lord Jim, and it does say held by GGJ, and we didn't delete this one, so we're good there. So I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet, and we're going to mark this one down as well. So basically, the thing to do is either pull them up by the title or the OCLC number, and you'll be looking in the institution zone and just verify it's not in the institution zone. And for this book here, you can see that this title is held by one other institution, Columbus State, but we don't have it. And when you pull it up in OCLC, it says that we do, so it just has to be deleted out of connection. And so delete our holdings from connection, and then after you do that, just mark on the spreadsheet that the holdings have been deleted. Unless, of course, you run into something like this record here, Life at the Edge of Sight, or Solving Practical Engineering Mechanics Problems, that seem to be ebooks that we purchased and they showed up on this report. The other kinds of things that would show up on here that I don't want to delete would be things that belong to the Cengage 19th century newspapers, or things that are microfilm. So, for example, Today's Education. This is on the report. Whoops. But I don't want to delete it because this is in our microfilm location, and it is attached to the network zone, but I think that's perfectly fine. I'm not sure exactly why it showed up on this report, but I don't want to delete that record. And other things that you'll see on here would be let's see, things like this one. And this is, I believe, part of the Cengage 19th century newspaper collection. And let me pull that up by title. Okay, so this is part of Cengage, and for some reason we have two records in here. So I think the thing to do here is to figure out why, whoops, one of them is Atchison Daily Globe and the other one says Atchison Globe. So it must have changed its name at some point, I guess that's why. Let's see, the one on here says Atchison Globe, and there's one that says Atchison Daily Globe. Yeah, I don't want to delete these. So if it says delete it, don't, then don't delete those records. And you may encounter more of those that I missed. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the filter. And if you find other ones that are part of the Gale Cengage or EBSCO ebook collection or some other e-collection that we have, then just don't delete them. And in column A, just put don't or something like that, just like this one.